Alright, we are recording. Continuing in Titan Quest 2. This could have been a week that, if I didn't have anything to talk about, I'd be happy, because it's just been a busy week. So just getting to play a game would be nice. But I do have something to talk about. Yeah, though, those. Alright. Oh, so that's how big that is. Alright. Where am I going here? Okay. I'm gonna come down here, actually, and work that way. God, I wasn't in it connected that way. But yeah, the main thing I've got is Valve announced 3 new pieces of hardware that are expected in early 2026. Whatever early means. You know, and I say it not just because, oh, it's Valve, but just it's anything. Ow. Okay, I actually survived that. Yeah, so as I just said, they announced three different things. We've got a new Steam machine, a new Steam controller, and the frame, which is a new VR headset. So, starting with the Steam machine, it is a 6x6x6 cube, approximately. And is going to utilize I think I saw somewhere that claimed that it'll be a 6-core AMD processor with, I don't remember how many RDNA 3 GPU core, compute units, there we go. Which that I find a little curious. Just that it's RDNA 3 instead of RDNA 4. So, I guess we'll find out what kind of impact that'll have. It could also be a semi-custom RDNA 3 though, like 3.5, but we'll see. I didn't actually put many of the specs in there, but I do kind of remember some of them. There's going to be 2 versions of it, one with 0.5 terabyte of storage, the other with 2 terabyte. No indication of that being internally expandable, but there was a mention that there is, you'd be able to use a micro SD card to expand the storage, just like you can with the Steam Deck. Because there was mention that you'd be able to plug that, you'd be able to move the micro SD card between a Steam Deck, Steam machine, and the frame, the VR headset, because it will also be standalone. It is not just going to be streaming. I do want to get to that, but I want to keep talking about the Steam machine first. Finish talking about that. What did it say? It was 3 or 4 USB-A ports on there, USB-C port, gigabit Ethernet, DisplayPort 1.4, and HDMI 2 point something. I don't remember if it was 2.0 or if it was something else. I can't remember. But definitely was an HDMI 2. So they were claiming that it would be capable of 4K at 60 with FSR, so with the upscaling in there, so we'll see how that actually works out. Well, somebody will see. I don't have much interest in buying such a thing. I got the test system for that kind of stuff. And I'm confident that, even though it would be a newer architecture of CPU, the 5800X 3D that I got in there is probably going to be plenty for CPU performance for me yet. And I've been keeping the RTX 2080 in there. That's easy enough to upgrade. But I just haven't felt the need to buy a new GPU to put in there. But yeah, no word on pricing for any of this, by the way. And as I already said, early 2026 in theory. We'll see how that actually works out. Naturally it does run SteamOS, which is a version of... It is a Linux distribution. I don't remember ever really learning... I know I saw somewhere mention of Arch Linux, so it might be based on that. I don't remember, though. It's been too long since I saw such things. Saw such information for SteamOS. But still, it does, by being SteamOS, that means it is consistent, well, with SteamOS, but, because you can use it for various things, but also for, no, that's not, yeah, there, the Steam Deck, because that is also SteamOS. Let me just try to think what else. It does have a built-in, antenna for connecting to the new Steam controller, but probably the hang on, I just want 7%. What I have is still better, but you know what? I'm gonna buy this anyway.
Hey, you made
and just throw it in here.
Lord Glycos told us.
These beaches are filled with so many ruins.
Because, I mean, that's really nice. The just generic, we're improving attributes. I'll sell that. That's...
I owe you a great debt, friend. What can I...
Actually, no, I'm gonna throw it in here.
Need me to look after anything?
Nope. Okay. I don't use physical damage, but maybe I'll make a character at some point that will, so, yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about the frame now. So that is a VR headset that is wireless, and the USB connection for it, the USB transmitter for it, uses, it has two separate antenna in there, although technically it's not just antenna. No, what was it? It's a dual system. So that one can utilize 6 gigahertz to connect to the thing itself, so that would be streaming the video and audio, and the other is for connecting to your Wi-Fi, which I assume is not necessarily 6 gigahertz, that could be 2.4 or 5, which are more common Wi-Fi standards. But it does make some sense to do that, though, because in theory 6 gigahertz, that's faster. It's potentially also going to have more issues with going through walls and such. Just generally speaking, it's not always true, but higher frequencies can also be more easily blocked, or at least more easily interfered with. So yeah, but it's still, I mean, compared to just having to deal with wires, that'll be nice. I haven't pulled out I still have the, oh crap, what was it called? The Lenovo Voyager, was that it? Oh, I don't remember. I did do that write-up on it, though. And I still have it. Just, I haven't used it for a while. It's sitting in its box, because it's not that easy to get it out and connect up all the cables. And it's also, I'd connect it to the test system, and I don't have a great deal of room around the test system. I already have a scratch on the bezel of my television because I popped that. Wow. Speaking of popping. Oh, yeah. This is gonna set some stuff off. Okay. I forgot about this whole thing here, so let me just get this ready. There's also new frame controllers, which I'll talk about. Various other things, but with the frame headset, I'm just trying to think before I get to talking to the pig, what all else is there that I want to quickly mention on it. Nothing coming to mind though, but yeah, there are some things, and I them interesting.
I'm human again, right? Completely? My nose doesn't still look a bit like a snout or anything, does it? Oh, thank Zeus. It was awful. The last thing I remember, I woke up aboard the Legacy to screaming, and then I washed ashore on the beach. We came upon that table of food right there, heaped high with... We shouldn't have eaten it. I can see that. But we were scared and hungry, so the three of us were turned into pigs. I stayed put, hoping help would arrive. Aratus is alive. The others are too. And Glaukos. I'll start heading back, now that I know where they are, and I'm not a pig. Goodbye.
So we do find additional pigs as we go up that way. Yeah, so the... Hang on just a second. Sorry, nose was itching. And now my brain just turned off a little bit. So yeah, the frame, let me just try to remember what some of its specifications are. 2160 by 2160 dual LCDs, one for each eye. A pancake lens, which I assume just means that it's shaped more like a pancake, so it's meant to have for the whole of your view sharp vision. We'll see if that actually proves to be true. Okay, that's just weird because I can see the preview in OBS. Okay, I got plenty. Let's close that. Alright. So it is... So as the tech goes, actually...
Those cursed bandits were gonna eat me! Those bastards! Oh. The brave hero has rescued me. Is that right? I hope Aratus sent you. I'll head back soon. I can handle myself from here. Thanks.
So, yeah, that's nice, because I know some VR headsets, it's a single display that's just stretched. Well, not exactly stretched. It goes across the whole the face, the whole of the headset itself, and then it you just have the lenses that basically are putting the stuff in the right spot, which it makes sense because that would be cheaper than two separate displays. But no, they're going for individual ones. Oh, that's a little bit of a problem. Okay. Yeah, the pancake lenses, I mentioned that they are capable of 72 to 144 hertz. It said. I don't remember what it said for. It is an ARM. I think Qualcomm specifically CPU in there, and I don't remember what GPU specifications were. Although, well, that it's built into its CPU. But yeah, because as I mentioned, it is standalone. Well, it is capable of standalone. And it does run Steam OS as well, so that micro SD card you can put into the Steam machine, or Steam Deck, you can also put it into this. And I'll be honest, I'm curious. I'm curious enough that depending on the price, I'd be willing to buy it, because I do like... It's been a while since I've touched any VR games, as I mentioned, although it does also say you can play non-VR. So I guess it's also just a walking 2D display. I mean, it can't certainly be used that way. But, yeah, no, I am... It would be fun to get to play some of the stuff, like Gorn again. That was fun. And now it has a sequel. Audio Shield, I remember enjoying Beat Saber. And I know there's plenty of others. I haven't touched VR stuff for quite a while. Also the Series Sam game that I had as well. So yeah, I might. I'm at least show me the price kind of in that kind of situation, that kind of mood with it. Show me the price, I might buy it. The frame controllers, I don't remember what it said. Well, no, I don't even remember giving it battery life, actually, now that I think about it, for the frame. In any case, though, it, the frame controllers are... Oh, hang on. Should I mention... No, I mentioned it's standalone, so that covers a fair amount. It is intended to be light and comfortable to put on. So that's good. Oh. Yeah, I guess just the frame controls are left to mention anything about. They have a split controller design, so rather than... No, still... What are we... Okay.
I owe you a great debt.
Yeah, a split controller design, so you don't have the same... they're not just mirror images of each other, the left and right controllers. You do have, like, I think both do have joysticks, but you may have the D-pad on the left side and then the buttons, you know, like the A, B, X, Y buttons on the right. I don't remember what else. They looked like they might be... Okay. To first see it, it looked... Like, to first see the image, it looked like it was large, but they are powered by a single AA battery each. And showing the compartment for that, because I know roughly the size of a AA battery, that didn't look that big. So I don't quite know what's up with their sizes. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see ultimately learned. But they do use a capacitive system for tracking your fingers. So you do have finger tracking there, which was... I'll be honest, I cannot remember the name of the already available thing, Valve VR headset. I do remember, though, that was for a while at least considered the best VR headset you could get. But it did require external tracking. This is standalone, and it doesn't require external tracking. It has all that internal. It does have, and it has 4 monochrome cameras on it that use infrared for the tracking of your environment, and also in theory tracking. Well, I'll be honest, I don't actually know how much it may be tracking the controllers. Maybe they do emit light on there that can be tracked, but it could also just be a... Wait, no. Yeah, okay. It probably does track them initially, but the controls also have gyroscopes in them. So in theory, you could, once there's a reference for where they are... yeah, that actually makes sense, because that way you could... Okay, so you could have fewer lights on there, where it's like, okay, headset knows where they are. Then, using the gyroscope, you get all the acceleration data, so you know where they are then in free space, even without them being tracked visually. And then whenever they come in and are tracked visually, then it's like, okay, update the position in case it did start to wander. So yeah, you could have stuff like that. Anyway. Fun stuff. Fun stuff like that. What else? Was there anything else with that? Nothing really coming to mind. And I do want to talk about the Steam controller, because as I said, I am interested in the frame. Like, depending on the price, I might be like, you know what, yeah, I'll spend that. It'll depend. It would not be a... Well, I'd want to see reviews of it first. Hopefully, if they decide that, yeah, we're going to do some sort of launch discount, it would last till after reviews. They did also... Oh, that does remind me, I did see something... I don't remember where it was that, as far as availability, everywhere that currently gets the Steam Deck, you'll be able to buy this hardware. Now, the Steam controller, unless it is stupidly priced, I will buy one, because I like the first-gen Steam controller. I do. I find it comfortable, and it has some features that I really need as well. And so yeah, I'm interested in this next generation version. One thing that I am concerned with, though, is one of the features that I do really like on the Steam Deck. Sorry, not on the Steam Deck, on the control. I don't have a Steam Deck. On the first gen controller, is the triggers. They're not just analog. They do also have at the end of their travel a button. And this I really like because I could use that to... It can be assigned to a separate action. So, for example... okay, I can think of two examples that I did do with this. One was in Dead Space, because you had one button to aim that would bring up the gun. And this is the original Dead Space, I don't have the remake of it. And then there was another button to actually fire. This was always kind of annoying. Well, what I did was I set the button to aim to just analog. You know, like any travel on the trigger would cause it to be picked up, would cause the weapon to be picked up. But then the button, when I completely pulled the trigger in, would fire. So it worked very nicely. Found that very comfortable to use in that way. Another is, I know that for at least one of the F1 games, I would have, you would naturally have acceleration on the, the throttle and the brake on the triggers, which would benefit from the it being analog, because you can, control the intensity. I would put then the gear shifting, so the shifting up and shifting down on there as well, onto the buttons. So I want to go to the next gear up. Well, I'm already accelerating. Well, I'm already holding down the throttle, so it's like, okay, click to move it up. I don't think that's actually worth it. I think the rest of the stuff actually... Well, no. Actually, this is better. So let me actually take care of that. It's cunning that I need. 173. So there. Oh, I thought that would be more. Oh, that's why. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, I don't think I actually need that fire resistance.
I owe you a great debt, friend. What can I do for you?
I forgot about the bonus strike armor. Sorry, bonus fire resistance. Oh, but that's true. I'm getting the lightning resistance, which is good because it's lightning that's like shredding through me. Yeah, I'll go down. Back to this one. Up that way. See, I don't know if that feature is there on this new one. It does have the semi-symmetrical layout of the PlayStation controls, which I will admit I don't like. But has two joysticks, and then does still have two touchpads on it, but they're just square touchpads down, lower. Okay, good. I actually need to go back now. Where is she? Okay, she might be over here? The woman that was locked up. Is she over here? Yes, I think she is. Yep, there she is.
Thanks. Listen, you've got to let me out of here. I was a pirate. I tried to leave. Just too much killing. But the others didn't take it well. Said I was... How do you think the pirates around here deal with the Ichthyans? They made a deal to put the Ichthyans, come for them, drag them away. They keep the cage key in a ruined watch.
That's why I just...
Thank
yeah.
you. Oh, Oh, before they caged me, I stashed all my treasure in a lion statue. Or follow the road east, passing the Ichthyans and the wooden bridge. At the top of the hill, the lion Thank you!
Guess I should have already done that. I don't really remember where that is. But this is east. Yeah, so you do still have the touch. It seems more very much based, the new Steam Deck's new Steam controller seems very much based on the Steam Deck, which is great for people that use that. I don't, but you know, that's me, because I don't have one. And on part of the reason why is I don't have a good justification for it. I mean, it seems like it would be great, be a lot of fun, all that. But like when I'm in my room, I've got the test system hooked up to the 32-inch television. I've got my laptop. I've got the desktop. Although I will admit that I tend not to. Like, I'm using the laptop to play this right now. This is it. Okay. There we go. Don't get me wrong, the desktop is awesome. It's just, although, well, it would be better if I put a better, Nah, what I currently have is better. What I'm trying to do anyway. Okay. Yeah, a better graphics card in there would help, but it's like, no, it all works. I don't see the need to upgrade it, rather than just ultimately replace this and make this into an amazing, awesome server. Oh, I love doing that. With the desktop. I mean, it'll still be running Windows, but still, it'll be such a nice server because it's a Threadripper build, so I've got PCIe lanes for days, plenty of SATA ports. With the PCIe lanes, I can get more SATA ports. I mean, it's awesome. It'll be great. So yeah, it's like for my use cases, the Steam Deck doesn't really offer anything. But yeah, no, the Steam controller does look interesting. It's going to have built-in batteries, built-in lithium-ion battery, which is different. The previous Steam controller, the first gen one, actually takes a pair of AA's. So I'm pretty sure it's a pair of AA's. Which is nice because that way I tend to just plug it in. I don't use it wirelessly, which has the benefit of it is much lighter, and I don't have to worry about batteries then. So this, no, well, you can still plug it in to use it, but it is, if you connect it wirelessly, then obviously you are going to be draining battery. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, one thing though I wanted to mention, because I prefer the asymmetrical layout like you get with an Xbox controller. Also the GameCube controller. I prefer that, but one thing, because the original Steam controller, you had up top, you had two touchpads, which worked not only for just as touchpads, and so you could also use them as virtual joystick, but they also were buttons themselves that you could either tap on or actually push down and they'd click. But the sheer size and the curve of the Steam controller, even with my large hands, my thumbs would actually be turned in and rest on the joystick and the buttons. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how the new Steam controller is. I do understand why some people are looking at it and be like, whoa, that's huge. And you know, like, even so, some people bring up the Duke, the original Xbox controller, which, I mean, that's fine, but it's also like 20 years ago for me. Geez, I don't know if that's making me old or not. Well, how old that's making me, but I can remember before turning 20, holding a Duke and like talking with my uncle a little bit about it, and it's like, it felt fine. I have large hands. The Duke is not a large controller to me. Yes, large compared to others, but it's not uncomfortably large in my hand. So this new Steam controller, I might barely even notice.
Human, please, I am not warrior like others. I live alone for many years.
Thank you. It feels good to be able to...
What? Where is Pig?
I was the pig. I'd been suffering from an enchantment. I'm sorry, sir, but I don't want to be your pet.
I not want human as pet.
There is no pig.
You tricked.
By Athena. Thanks for transforming me back. I was worried I'd spend the rest of... Bless Aratus. He's always had my back. It warms my heart to hear that the captain and the others are well. As for Glaukos, I don't know. I'm gonna take a breath for a moment and then... Farewell.
And I think that's the eggs. Okay. Yeah, I guess it is the last of them. But I'm just trying to remember if there's anything else to mention. Not really, but yeah, I mean, so long as it's not stupid expensive, I'll get the Steam controller, probably. Oh, they did also mention, and this is true for both it and the frame controllers, that they're using a magnetic system for the joysticks that's supposed to be better. I don't know. I understand, unless they are referring to Hall effect, which is technically magnets. But yeah, I'm not up to date on controller technology such that I could say that, oh yeah, that's so cool. Oh yeah, that's not that big a deal. Although one thing I will say, and this, I've been wanting this in the Steam Controller API for so long. I don't remember if there was a spot where I could give feedback on it though. So as I mentioned, my thumbs naturally turn when I hold the Steam controller to rest on the joystick and on the buttons. So it's comfortable, despite how far down they are. One thing, though, is... Okay. So... One thing that I want them to add to the Steam controller API is the ability to change the cardinal directions in it. Because when I push up on that joystick, it tends to be a little bit at an angle because my hands are turned. So I'm pushing forward, which is a few degrees, like at 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. Yeah, I really like it. I think it would be a good feature if they change that, especially because only one controller, to my knowledge, actually solves that problem, and that's the GameCube controller. Because if you look at that, both of the joysticks on it, they have an octagon cut in there for the cardinal directions and the semi-cardinal, or whatever they're called. The northwest, northeast, those are there. So you can still push in any direction. But you have a guide for, yes, this is what is actually true north for the controller. Well, these other controls, they don't have that, so it would be nice if somebody were like, hey, why don't we let it where you can adjust this? Because, you will be off a little bit. And yes, you will need a little bit of a program to be like, push where you think north is. Do that. Push south. Push north again. Push east. Push west. Push south. Push north. West. You're just doing this pattern so it builds up okay, this is about where you think it is, not just because if you are only asked to do it once, you're probably going to just do in one spot and then it'll be off. But yeah, do something like that. I would love that to be in there. It makes sense to be in there. Hopefully they will eventually do that. One thing, going back to it having now built-in battery, I have a DualShock 4, and I do like it. It's a very comfortable controller to hold in the hand, in part because of its weight, which comes from it having a built-in battery. So I like how light the Steam control is in my hand, but the DualShock 4 is also very comfortable. So this change, where it's now going to be the new Steam controller is going to be heavier because the built-in battery, might not be a problem. I might still like that. So, but it is let's see what happens. this looks familiar. I think there's gonna be a waypoint around here soon. Just realized I have been forgetting to take care of the level.
You're carrying too much.
Yeah. Actually not, but nice, but
I'm carrying too much.
okay. There. But yeah, so we'll just, so long as they're priced well, I'll probably buy I'll almost certainly buy a Steam control. We'll see about the frame. It is enough. My interest in Steam controller is enough that it's just a question of price. The frame, I'd want to see a review on first. Oh, okay, that's checkpoint because I went west instead of east. Got it. Alright. Now let's take care of this. I'd rather go with that for now. That's maxed. Yeah, it's okay. At some point I will worry about that. Let's do that for now. Okay. Just trying to think now, is there anything else to mention, to talk about from this week? Nothing really coming to mind. Oh yeah, there is this whole thing. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this is a whole thing, and it is not accurate. We'll get to it, though.
Come here. Ah, we spoke briefly back at camp. You're the hero helping Lord Glaukos. What a tale. I am Sophocles of the Silver Tongue, greatest musician in... I've been hearing this wonderful, beautiful melody on the wind in my dreams. So I ventured here, through wild monsters, to find its source. And I found it. A siren, the poor creature. She's being held captive. She needs help. And I'm... Does a rose not have thorns? Beauty and danger are two sides of the same coin, my friend.
That is not true. It just isn't. I mean, and it's also... This is what annoys me, is that sirens, they are a very dangerous creature. And this is like, oh no, it's not quite a they just misunderstood kind of thing. But it is a, no, that they intentionally sing to kill you.
Wonderful. I'll immortalize your name forever. Now, I'd suggest that you go down and deal with the... I'll make sure everyone knows that you're the great warrior, not me. I'll keep close eye on...
You can actually see her down there. It's also, as I recall, not... the physical depiction is not accurate for how sirens typically are, but it's just... Sirens would be beasts, and as such are not necessarily evil per se, but what they do very much directly cause the death of people, and I think there is some level of knowledge there, but it's in their nature to do it. This is depicting them as though, oh no, they're not that bad. No, they are bad. They are evil. Well, not necessarily evil, but they are destructive by nature. Don't be like, oh well, they're just these really special music. People die because of them. Come on. There we go. Yeah, it is weird how it puts them in. Puts the labels in spot. Okay, they need to be jittered off of. They need to be jittered so that moved around so they don't overlap each other. I got that. I understand that. But it's going a little far in that it is also like, yeah, we're just gonna move them all the way over here and then not bring them back. Like in the original game, they did actually de-jitter as it became clear that they weren't needed, that the jittering was not needed. A little bit of a waste, but whatever.
Mortal! Slay those that imprison me, and I will grant you a great boon. Thank you, mortal. Freedom tastes sweet. 1,000 curses upon Nemesis and the cursed shades that follow her. I spit on her name. My sisters and I used to rule these sands. But seasons ago, Nemesis arrived and slaughtered us. Us! Daughters of the muse Melpomene. Handmaidens to Persephone. Slaughtered like pigs. The very cosmos quakes at such a crime.
I don't know where this Handmaids of Persephone thing comes from. Let me try looking it up. Let me try looking. Alright, mythology, sirens. Okay. Mythology, sirens, Persephone. Okay. Yeah, so they were half-herd women, but they were originally made to have wings because Demeter, after Persephone disappeared, were sent out to find them, but were sent out to find her, but failing to find her, they were then cursed. Okay, yeah, monstrous sea nymphs who lured sailors to their death with a bewitching song. Formerly handmaids to Persephone, but when she was secretly abducted by Hades, Demeter gave them the bodies of birds to assist in the search. They gave up and settled on the flowery island of... I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Yeah, both the Jason the Argonauts and Odysseus encountered them. Orpheus got them past got the Argonauts passed because he outsang them, which Orpheus would be able to do, yeah. Odysseus, all of his men had beeswax put in their ears to not hear. They also tied him to the mast because he had to hear it himself. He gave in to the temptation. And they had to tie him to the mast so he couldn't jump into the water to swim to them, which would lead to his own death. Yeah, so he is the only person in Greek mythology, as I recall, who actually heard them and lived. Oh, okay. I don't remember this from when I read the Odyssey, but it's been a while. And it was an odd translation at times. Anyhow. The Sirens were so distressed to see a man hear their song and still escape that they threw themselves into the sea and drowned. Yeah. They're not this benevolent, though still kind of hideous, thing that we get in this game. And does annoy me.
Because each siren carries within them their birth song. A divine song so beautiful that it blesses any who hears it.
And I'll just admit, I think this is stupid.
Nemesis demanded that I sing my birth song for her, so she could be empowered by its blessing. She has tortured me.
Oh, great Siren. I am humbled to be in your presence.
These are good words. You are the one I have been singing to.
I humbly request that you teach me your beautiful melody. I merely wish to share its...
I will grant you that. And more. I will sing you my
Thank you. Hero, I owe you everything.
Yeah, we're gonna stick around and hear it. I mean, it's still kind of a neat moment here, but it is just... This isn't correct mythology. And he's just heading back. But yeah, I wanted to... The reason I moved around silently was just the whole to show that they decided to have, like, somehow spirits just appearing to also listen. I mean, it's one of those, I get it, but it still is, this is not how that makes any sense. Right, and I do still, even if I'm not actively done game reviews for a while, I still actively do criticize things. In fact, I've been working on some book reviews of late. And oh, yeah, I will go at things. Which is good. I mean, should be criticizing when something is done poorly. Okay. Alright. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clear out that last egg place, crab egg place. Maybe a little bit more on the map, but then I will be done for the day. Still hate those crabs. They for their ability to just channel an attack for so long that actually does a fair amount of damage, and re-aim to keep hitting you, I feel they get way too much health. That's right, I should. There. Is within threshold over time after being used. Huh. So in theory, with sufficiently high barrier threshold there, you would, no, let's actually do that. You'd basically just have it up all the time then? Is that what that would mean? Actually, yeah, let's do that. Well, at least until it's actually hit and destroyed. I already have one of these, but I think it is a lower level. It's just... yeah. Thought there was something to make that more compelling. Oh, it might just be what these have. Yeah. Alright, so I have that now. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll just clear out some of the map and then we'll be stopping. Let's do this. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else you can mention so it's not just dead air. Nothing coming to mind. Oh, I forgot about the foveated streaming. Yeah. Need to mention that. So, in order to help with performance, well, wireless performance, I should specify. The Steam Frame VR headset uses foveated streaming. What the hell does that mean? Foveated, including for, previously you may have seen it talked about for foveated rendering. What that does is it focuses on, in either case, focuses on your field of view. Fove, F-O-V-E-ated, field of view, right? I just realized I started saying that, I don't remember if I explained it, but yeah. Field of view, E-ated, F-O-V, E-ated. So, with the VR headset, what it will actually do is track your eyes. It has gaze tracking built in. So it knows where you're looking. And then it will focus the streaming quality there. So that way, your peripheral vision will be getting, if necessary, lower quality video. I stress if necessary, because it should be adjusting that based on the situation. Because if it sees, oh no, we can send you everything at full quality, we're going to do that. But it should prioritize the spot where you're actually looking. Because if it's in the peripheral vision, you're less likely to notice a lack of detail. And it's just, this is actually really neat. And it's also because it's foveated streaming, not rendering. It's game agnostic. It doesn't matter what the game is. Because it's just, oh, this video signal has been created. I'm going to, like right here, make sure that this has the highest quality. But as we get over here, yeah, we don't need all the detail in the sand. We can ignore that. So no, that's actually really neat. That truly is neat. And as it's essentially a post-processing effect. Sort of. It's not really. But it is after the image has been processed, though. That is true.
Honestly, I'm just glad.
So, it's just 35. Got it. Okay. And that allows it to be basically whatever you want as far as what the game is. Where something like foveated rendering, that is actually trying to reduce it at nope, this is still better.
You found all three of...
Yeah, thanks.
And we'd still be...
We should have never eaten pigs.
I thought they were...
Okay. You know.
Use, but I broke my leg. Yes! At least now you're a damn fine hunter. I hope... Bye, Artemis.
That actually might be an upgrade. Yeah, a little bit less spell damage, but the energy barrier would be nice, but the ailment chance, that could actually be powerful. Sure, what the hell, why not? I'm just gonna throw that into the
Sorting through this old...
into the stash. I mean, it's nice, but it's not nice enough.
Need me to look after anything?
There. Now let's... Oh, no, I did turn that in. In theory, I can also turn in the embers, but I don't feel like doing it. Yeah, foveated rendering. That does have to be built into the game. And that will just go back and tell the game, hey, in these he's not looking here, you can change most likely the shading rate, which, oh, geez, now to explain that. Which is a little disappointing because shading rate is something that should be used more than I think it is. It's a really neat technology. So basically, when an image is generated, it involves multiple steps. One is... that's not good. I just found a break in the cable of my headphones. In the insulation. Oh well. Fortunately, I can actually change this cable out, so that's not too bad. Though getting exact replacement might be a little tricky. You first figure out the scene, and then you send out rays to sample it. This is true for rasterization or ray tracing or path tracing. You still send rays out from the camera to figure out, okay, what intersects where. And from that, you get fragments, which are just where the ray intersects, it collects a whole bunch of data, and that data is passed on for figuring out, okay, what colors this will be. That's the shading process. Variable rate shading impacts how much effort sort of is put into that shading step. So, because let me be clear, the rasterization step, the ray casting step is cheap. Okay, it is incredibly cheap. That's not a problem. With ray tracing it is, because now you got the bouncing. But it's also, even with the bouncing, it's still kind of cheap. But factoring all that information in for shading, that's what's actually expensive. So that's actually part of the reason why MSAA and SSAA, because they both will use the same sampling patterns, the same number of samples. MSAA throws out samples if it throws out fragments if it's like, oh, this is within object, there's no aliasing going on here. So the shading is simpler there. SSAA is higher samples, is more samples, but also an increased shading rate. So MSAA is technically itself variable shading rate based on, are the fragments here, do they cross the edge of an object? If they do, there's a chance for aliasing. Anyway. So yes, technically we've had for decades a means of increasing the shading rate. That's not quite what's going on there. Close enough for the time being. You can also reduce the shading rate. And that's what would be happening in foveated rendering. Where now, instead of one fragment being used for shading a pixel, you might be like, okay, you know what? We're going to still use, well, we're going to blend together multiple fragments and cover 4 pixels, let's say. We're just combining that data together, and then we're rendering it once and putting it there. That's kind of what you're doing with variable rate shading. And it's really neat because that means that there can be spots where, hey, there's so little going on here that, yeah, we can get away with that. And that reduces the actual shading load, because the shading is what takes the most time. So yeah, foveated rendering would be applying shading rate, adjusting that based on where you're looking. And there are some games that, not necessarily with the foveated, but where they do adjust the shading rate, so something really far away, reduce the shading rate there, it doesn't matter. Because you're less likely to notice changes in detail. Like, you can see my mouse. So like stuff back here, like this tree, we don't need a high shading rate. It's in the background, you're not going to notice much detail anyway. This tree, however, is in the foreground. It's larger, so you do want that. So it would be things like that. In fact, I can't even see back here. There is a little bit of aliasing. Just like times when there's like single specks, where it's like, yeah, I don't... It's basically polygon popping. You reduce the shading rate, that would naturally disappear. It would also be a softer image, but the idea is you don't reduce it so far that that's a problem. But, yeah, so that requires touching the rendering engine. That's why foveated rendering would require specific games. Foveated streaming, though, as I said, that's a post-process thing. That is, the image has been rendered, we're sending it to the display, which has to be transmitted, but you're sending it to the display and you're doing it then. So it'd be sending it via H.264, H.265 instead of using Motion JPEG or something like that. Motion JPEG, for those of you wondering, it is a video specification, even though it says JPEG, but it is an intra-frame encoder only. What that means is one image is encoded at a time, and they never share data between images. Something like 264, 265, AV1, basically all modern video codecs that you would use, one frame, they are inter-frame encoding, so it actually uses information from multiple frames, which is great for compression efficiency, but lousy if there's any concern about latency or just the potential of the signal dropping. So yeah, that's why like MJPEG is an option for webcams, because you need every frame to be true when it gets there. It can't be based on something else, because if that other frame fails, well, now many frames can fail. So yeah, this MJPEG, there's some others that also like that are used for that purpose. And in theory, the frame, I don't know what it would be using. In theory, it could be using MJPEG, but it's still modifying the image that goes to MJPEG and then transmitted. I don't know. There are other options and newer options, I believe, as well, than MJPEG. It is old. It is quite old, but it works. So, yeah, it just occurred to me, I don't think MJPEG, on its own at least, supports HDR, and I don't recall anything being said if the frame supports HDR. It won't as far as brightness, because you don't want hundreds and hundreds of nits that close to your eye. Holy shit. I mean, unless, of course, you want laser eye surgery. But as far as the color spectrum, though, the gamut, I could see that. I could see it maybe being there. Because that's also part of HDR. Anyway, that is enough of my blathering, enough of my talking. See you next time.